From the National Newsroom of the Canadian Press, I'm Don Mitchell. A Canadian tourist has been killed and 6 others injured at a tourist site an hour north of Mexico's capital. The Mexican government says a man with a gun opened fire today at the historic Teotihuacan pyramids, and the injured were receiving medical attention. Authorities say 4 people were wounded by gunshots and that 2 more were injured from falls. The shooter died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum wrote on social media that the shooting would be investigated and that she's in touch with the Canadian Embassy. Statistics Canada says the annual rate of inflation jumped more than half a percentage point to 2.4% in March. The agency citing the war in Iran sending fuel costs soaring as a contributing factor.
StatCan says the 21.2% monthly surge in gasoline prices in March was the largest on record after Iran closed the Strait of Hormuz in response to U.S. and Israeli attacks, which sent global oil prices skyrocketing in recent weeks. StatCan says inflation would have been 2.2% in March if gasoline was taken out of the equation. Food inflation, meanwhile, cooled to 4% from 5.4% in February as the lingering effects of Ottawa's 2-month tax holiday a year earlier fell out of the annual comparisons. Michelle Zedekian, The Canadian Press.
Military recruitment in Canada has reached a 30-year high after the Canadian Armed Forces brought in more than 7,000 new members in the past year. In an update today, Defense Minister David McGuinty said the military received more than 44,000 applications over the past year to join the regular force, 62% higher than the year before.
My colleagues and I know it's about Canadians stepping forward, choosing to serve something greater than themselves. It's about the tens of thousands of dedicated women and men already in uniform, serving with courage, professionalism, and with pride.
Former Defense Minister Bill Blair said in 2024 that the Canadian Armed Forces was locked in a recruitment death spiral. Over to the Middle East, Israeli officials say talks with Lebanon are set to resume in Washington this Thursday. The anonymous official said the same ambassadors from each country that met last week in the U.S. Capitol will join the talks. So far, there's been no immediate confirmation from either the U.S. or Israel. Meantime, the U.S. Navy's forcible seizure of an Iranian-flagged cargo ship has thrown doubt on U.S. President Donald Trump's announcement that American negotiators would travel to Pakistan for another round of talks with Iran. And Ontario Premier Doug Ford says he listened to the taxpayers, and they were the ones insisting he should reverse a decision to buy a used $29 million private jet for the province. Earlier today, Ford admitted he should have made the case to the public as to why he needed a jet before buying it.
Because the people don't want it. I listen to the people. I've made mistakes. Every premier makes mistakes.
The Premier's office says the province purchased a used 2016 Bombardier Challenger 650 jet for $28.9 million last week, but will now try to sell it. This is the Canadian Press. In sports, 4 games in the NHL playoffs tonight with the Edmonton Oilers hosting Game 1 of their opening round series against the Anaheim Ducks. The other games see the Ottawa Senators trying to even their best-of-7 series against the Carolina Hurricanes in Raleigh. Sens defenseman Artem Zub will be a game-time decision after picking up a knock on Saturday. The Pittsburgh Penguins will hope to tie their series with the Philadelphia Flyers tonight. And the Minnesota Wild, up 1-0, visit the Dallas Stars. In the NBA, the Toronto Raptors will try to square their first-round best-of-7 series tonight in Cleveland after a 126-113 loss in game number 1. Toronto swept the season series 3-0 against Cleveland, although the two teams haven't actually played each other since November 24th. And in Major League Baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays open a 3-game series tonight in Anaheim against the LA Angels after snapping a 4-game losing streak with a 10-4 win over the Arizona Diamondbacks yesterday. Right-hander Dylan Cease starts for the Jays, while the Angels will counter with left-hander Reed Detmers. From the Canadian Press, I'm Don Mitchell.
Thanks for listening. Don't forget to follow and subscribe. For more of today's top stories, visit thecanadianpressnews.ca.